symbol. Is that normal? It says I'm alive. It's saying that people can see us.
It is still showing as upcoming, which means it's doing the delay, so you should be good.
Alright, so 12 seconds in, things are a little different than last time, isn't it, chat? Yeah,
Yep,
you got
you're
me
alive.
to deal with. I can see what you're saying this time. There's no hiding in the dark, you filthy rats!
Aw, I got called out again.
Yeah.
No, just your children. But
And
we'll
the
have a
carriage driver.
solution to those soon, because we're cleaning up the rats. We're cleaning out the filth around here. Please stay with us. I am going to now. I have to choose between seeing what chat says, and actually it says sign into chat. I don't even know if I can see chat.
You're fine.
We're good.
I got it.
All
You
right.
can see it, but
Hey,
you
Sarah.
can't respond.
Oh, that's great.
Sarah,
Well,
can you look
that
at
are
his
notes.
screen?
Yeah.
For some reason on my end, it's like super orange. The stream is.
That's just the
stream
way the...
is orange.
Yeah. That's
That's the map.
yeah, the map itself.
Oh, yeah. It's got a tint to it, I guess. We'll see.
Sepia.
Yep.
Maybe it's your glasses. Maybe it's all of our glasses. Last time we left off, we were doing something a little different. An exploration encounter, one might say. Which basically is just round-based exploration as we segue through a series of timestamps to get you into a space where you can decide, hey, is there a problem and how do we handle it? So, last time we left off, you guys were being driven in by Sigourney Weaver, the rat, via carriage into the town of Bilchester. It was late in the evening, it's evening now, probably about 5 o'clock or so, just prior to twilight. And as you guys were pulling into town, you learned, the guy that you're gonna go see, his name is Einval. He apparently runs several of the businesses in town, including the granary, the flour mill, as well as he's got a carriage business. Rolling into town, Ilya posed the question on what sort of area would be like the catch-all for the grain, because there was a potential that there was some sort of spoil that was being talked about, and that would be the granary, which is seated right next to the windmill. This picture that you guys have before you is not entirely perfectly accurate. The windmill up on that hill there is also like there's a granary structure next to it on that little pond there. And so you guys were rolling into town, and as you guys were kind of going through the streets, you started to see some folks milling about. It did look like there were maybe a couple of folks who were maybe down in the dumps, sitting or leaning, kind of positions that you'd expect of like vagrants. As you guys were pulling through town, I think we're on Wretch. Did you have anything that you would like to do?
I think I asked Yeah. I asked if I could rack my brain about what I knew about Lord Einsul Gone, and then I rolled and your computer blew up.
Okay. Do you remember what you rolled?
Literally, just a triumph.
Oh, yeah,
No,
yeah.
it was like 5 triumphs.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Oh yeah, 5 triumphs.
So, with a triumph, what I will say is that you don't really know much about Lord Einval. Like, there's not any, like, anything about his, like, social minglings or anything like that. but you do recall seeing his carriages up and down the roads to Lemoore. And that has been around for at least a decade. So clearly, this business is not something that has come in a hurricane or anything like that. It is something that has been around, so to speak. Bull, would you like to hold in your guts and pass, or is there something that you would like to do?
Is everybody staying in the carriage at the moment?
Carriage is still moving.
Okay. Then yeah, I'm still just kind of resting. I'm peeking, but I'm not like looking for anything.
Okay. And then Emery.
Okay, so nobody in our group knew Einval specifically. We'd heard about the food shortage.
Yeah, the food spoil.
Yes, or sorry, the food spoil. And what do I guess like maybe I can just do a knowledge check about like if I know much about this town specifically.
Yeah, you can give me a knowledge people check.
Knowledge people. Two success, one advantage.
Okay. So this town is big enough that it has a couple of local goods that have been exported. And Einval is the one who's really made the exportation really any like a thing, actually. Most of the businesses in town are to keep the town running, but this town exports the flour from the mill, as well as papyrus from another mill up the river.
Okay. So it's mostly, like, food-wise with the spoilage, it was mostly, like, flour goods, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
I suppose they technically the papyrus they export paper. Papyrus is the thing
Yeah.
before, right? So, anyways, you get the picture.
Yeah. I just... So... It was specifically the food spoilage, not the papyrus stuff? Or... Sorry if that's another check, I can wait.
No. So... Yeah, before the whisperings and mongering that was going on was that the food, i.e. the grain in this area, went bad.
Okay.
And that was shortly after the fonts of Ranvalar flushed out all of the toxins from the calamity of R&D6.
Sorry, you're saying this wasn't a problem until then? Or...
I'm saying that the rumors and whatnot of this problem never reached your ear until significantly after that.
Okay.
You guys cross the river, and on this small but sturdy bridge, appears to be made of stone, and it looks like it's well trod. As you guys get to the other embankment, you do see that there is a small tavern here. An inn. A large facility. It looks like a warehouse of some sort. And the coach continues to move past and beyond that, but before pulling up to, before ever getting towards the flour mill, it goes by a few houses and begins to slow down in front of a rather large, in fact, the largest home in town.
I want that house.
Squad leader, take that house.
And one thing you'll just want to do with your... Be careful not to move your stuff.
That bag isn't big
Oh.
enough.
You'll want to look at your screen to see, make sure you
One
can...
second. Sarah's teaching me.
Yeah. So,
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
yeah, so you have to make Roll20 work with him so you can still see people
Sure.
scrolling
Yep.
around.
Well, maybe I can just whoop, since they're not showing off their pretty little mugs. Just kidding. I'll do what I can, but I'm gonna forget because I'm not as good of the streamy hosty person as Sarah. So, you guys pull up to this house, and as you come to a halt, it looks a lot like just this picture here, and
With a fucking ghost guy?
oh. No, not with the fucking ghost guy.
You
On YouTube,
sure?
I can see a ghost guy.
I'll do a perception check.
What ghost guy are you guys talking about?
On YouTube, there's a big bald ghost guy near the top right window.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's because that's something you're not supposed to be looking at this yet.
No spoilers. You can't watch the YouTube right now.
Remember all. I suppose I didn't make that announcement. We noticed that beforehand. The chat gets to see the DM screen today.
Okay, alright, that's my bad.
Yeah,
I was just hanging out on YouTube, and you're like, the house looks exactly like this. Huh.
mhm.
Something about that house is odd.
You guys hear. Oh. And you see donuts crumble out of one of the windows.
Oh, no.
Anyways,
Is it Homer Simpson?
you hear the carriage, so you feel it kind of shuffle back and forth a little bit as the driver gets down. He goes over and opens up the door. At this point in time, you see another individual, an orc, holding the reins of the horses as Sigolene comes out and says, "Right away, or right this way, if it please you," and gestures towards the front door.
Follow cautiously.
Okay.
I'll hop out and whistle a little song.
So, you guys have made it to the manor of Lord Einball. Sigolene goes and opens up the front door and ushers you in.
Is the stream still nearby?
There is a river that comes through town, but it's not right next to the house.
No shit. Okay.
As you come in, is there anything, starting with Ilya, as he leads you into this house and potentially through the house, is there anything that you would like to do, keep an eye out for, etc.?
Ghost?
We know nothing about this guy, or really his intentions, whether or not he has a corporeal form, if he may slime us. So I just want to kind of keep my guard up. I'm not going to have my hand on my sword or anything, but keep watch out, see, are we alone? Are there servants around? How is the house kept? That sort of thing.
The house? So give me either a mechanics check or give me a streetwise check. Yeah, give me a streetwise check.
I just want to see if this feels like Does this feel like a person lives here, or are we witnessing a trap?
Mm-hmm.
To success.
2 success. All right. As you approach the house, there are lanterns by the road. The windows, several of them appear backlit as if someone is in the space. You open up the door, and you are met with the smell of a lived-in space as well. You hear a shuffling noise and a clanking coming from a back room, and as you enter in, Sigolian goes, sorry. He goes, Jacqueline, can you inform the master of the house that his guests have arrived? And a woman, after a few moments, comes around the corner and goes, Oh, well, how quaint. Of course. Just go ahead and seat them at the dining room table. And she hurries off. She goes, Dinner's still gonna be a bit. Sorry. It's mostly there, mostly ready though. So it does seem at quick glance, there's tapestries hung on the walls. There is been some buffing to the floor that has got a carpet over the top of it. You don't see like cobwebs everywhere or anything innately maniacal or seditious from your entry. How about you, Wretch? As you're being guided into the building, is there anything that you're hoping to achieve, investigate, or ruminate on?
I'll keep an eye out for how many servants are around.
Yeah.
How they're faring, whether they seem to be like hush hush and stay out of sight, or generally chill and just going about their business.
Yeah. So far you've noticed 3. There is the driver, there is the person who took the horses and the carriage from the driver, and there is this Jacqueline woman who passed through here quickly. If you want to give me a quick medicine check.
Four and 2.
The rattan before you does not give off any obvious signs of ailment. And Jacqueline seemed, she seemed rather old, but she seemed to have a strength to her that belayed her years, so to speak, as she promptly moved around with pretty solid posture as well. Let's see. Bull. At this point, the rattan is offered. They say, "You can leave your large weapons of war here. We got a coat rack as well as a decent standing area here. Also, the closet here." And he gestures towards the many areas there for you guys to dump like your sleeping bags and giant packs of stuff. You basically are all pack mules most of the time. And he goes, "Does anyone need any towels? It's been kind of mixed weather lately."
I would like to clean up.
Of course, of course. I'll show you through as soon as we get everyone else settled.
I think that's probably a good idea for me too.
Oh, all right then. If that's everyone's intent, then let me show you through.
You wish to
I'm
bathe
okay.
with me?
And I just kind of like
Was
take
my back turned?
He actually shows you right around the corner, to where you actually are, is a washroom. And so it's really not enough for like more than one person. And he goes, yeah, just take your time. There's towels in the pantry right there as well. And after you're done there, we're just gonna be just through this door here. And he looks at you, Emery. Would you like to go ahead and have a spot to sit? The chairs are rather comfortable around the dining room table.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Thanks. And I kind of like, that I have my package just like overflowing with stupid twigs and just knick-knack bullshit. But I'm still kind of just holding it in front of me, like I know he said I could set my stuff down, but Emery's just kind of doing this, like, oh no, it's all right. Oh no, I'm good.
Give me a charm check.
It's no trouble, really. Alright. Nothing and an advantage. That's it.
Beautiful.
One advantage.
From the shit out of him, dude.
He's like, you should clean up.
He goes, the Lord has a bit of a thing about bringing random foliage into the living space, if you please.
Oh, sure, foliage. Okay. And I just kind of like carefully set it with with everybody else's stuff and kind of give it a second glance, but it's
You
fine.
still have that little stick man wrapped around your head?
My armor is living wood, so yeah,
Okay.
I'm wearing bark.
Are our weapons being removed?
He didn't forcibly remove your weapons, but you're in a nice house and have been extended guest right, so it's kind of one of those like, do you bring your broad axe to the dining room table?
How else will you cut your steak?
Okay.
With
I
your
put
cleaver.
everything down.
Ah.
Put everything down except I pocket an obsidian knife and my holy relic.
Yeah. Okay. Are you attempting to be sneaky about that?
No.
Okay.
I'll just see what they say about it, but it'll be in my pocket.
The Golean doesn't seem to be doesn't seem to say anything about it. As he gestures towards the dining room. As you hang a left over and around, the dining room is actually a large space. It's I don't know what you call those spaces, but where it's like a living room and a dining room open layout where they're in the same space, so to speak. But there is a large table that has already been laid out with plates, etc. It's just that the food hasn't been played there. There is a big fireplace with 3 couches and a coffee table set before him as well. He goes, "Go ahead and make yourself comfortable. The Lord should be down any moment." And with that, you hear the stairs. From the stairs, you hear creaking as the maid comes back down, and directly behind her, you hear, "Forgive me, it's Sorry, he goes, "Forgive me, it's a lot harder for me to take stairs than it used to be." And you hear them kind of like creak underneath his weight as he shuffles down the steps.
I'm sorry, did you say what he looked like?
Not yet.
Okay.
So, for at this point, I think Wretch and Emery are in the dining room area, and Bull is in the washroom, and Ilya, you are waiting, and you can actually see up the stairs from this point, and so you notice a rather large gentleman with I would say
There's the ghost.
there's the ghost, yeah. He's got I would say like if he was pale at one point, it might have been it's like how do you describe someone who was at one point very, very pale but then got into alcoholism and got that ruddy complexion over a pasty whiteness sort of thing? He's pinkish, I guess.
Just say he looks like a vampire.
I don't know of any lore where vampires are pinkish, but
Pale with a ruddy face.
I mean, Bull can roll for knowledge dark if he wants. The gentleman is dressed in clean, dyed fabric that seems to be embroidered and cut well to his size. He takes the stairs at sideways, as if he's favoring keeping his left leg straight as he's making his way down the steps, taking them one at a time, so to speak. But he doesn't seem to be super slow about it either. He goes, "Oh, you must be one of you must be one of those guests. Thank you for accepting my offer."
Is he down the stairs yet?
No, he's making his way down the stairs.
Okay. I don't take my seat yet, and let me know whenever he gets to the bottom of the stairs.
Sure.
And thank you for inviting us into your lovely home. I'm
Yeah.
like a little just obviously like nervous, but
No. If Ilya's not saying anything, he makes it down the steps without any awkward pause or anything. And he looks around the edge, and the two of you, Emery and Wretch, at this point can see him. And he's got kind of tight, longer, well-made cotton stockings as well. This can be seen now from around, and really nice slippers. And he reaches out with kind of like a fatherly cheer. You know, like those people who seem to be like fathers to anyone, so to speak, for a forearm handshake with you, Ilya.
Hello there.
He shakes your hand and pats you on the back and looks around the corner, and as he glances, does a double take to see who's in his dining room, and goes, please, for me, every meeting should start with an opportunity to express our gratitude in each other's presences, and a moment to just take in the quality of life itself. Go ahead, have a seat by my fire as my May Jacqueline gets dinner finished up here.
So, I go to shake his hand, and I'm gonna have my holy icon in my hand when I do it.
Okay.
And if I can, I want to it happens in fantasy books a lot, but just imbue a bit of magic into the contact, so I make him feel better temporarily. Not putting my whole heart and soul behind fixing every ailment he has, but just kind of
Just to
some
get
warming.
him addicted to it.
Yeah. First one's free.
Okay, so you're gonna go to shake his hand with your medallion between your two hands.
Yeah, and then he feels like a warm presence between us, and then he all of a sudden's like, "Oh, my leg!" That's nice, kind of thing. That's the objective. Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm hoping to roll for it, but
Yeah. So you're not trying to be stealthy though, right?
not at all.
Okay. So as you reach out with your hand with the medallion in your hand, he reaches out with the same side hand and grabs for the back of your hand to supinate it, and he looks down at what's in your hand. He goes, "That is That is a mighty nice charm that you have there. Dahlia, is it?
Oh, yes. Fixes many ailments.
Ah, well, you are most certainly welcome in this house. Most certainly welcome in this town. We have quite a bit of ailments going around right now. And he slaps you on the back and makes his way into the dining room at this point. So we're going to go back into initiative order.
I'm so suspicious right now.
So we're going to go back into initiative order at this point. Starting with Ilya. So you guys have made it into this gentleman's home. There is going to be a single phase before dinner is served, where you guys can talk about just small little elevator speech stuff, and then dinner will be served, and then we'll go by round of dinner, so to speak. So I'm just giving you guys each an opportunity here.
I am Ilya of the Winterlands, de facto leader of the group. Found our way into your town, into your home, because as you said, there's a sickness going around. Specifically, I guess you'd call it grain blight, and our hope is to investigate and remedy the issue.
So I would like you to state what you were attempting to do for me, so we can figure out what kind of role that might be, so you can get what kind of information you're looking for.
So my goal is to first establish trust. Just be straight with our purpose here. We're not trying to charm him in any way necessarily, or trying to get anything out of him other than try to work with him. And also convince him that we're serious and we have a very particular goal in mind.
Yeah, okay. Give me a charm or a cool check.
It's present, which I'm not good at. 2. Success.
And I just have to, since... Okay. Okay. He looks you up and down with his very pleasant smile, and says, "Well, I am very, well, I am pleased that this little parley is amicable for you and your compatriots here. Although, I do have an agenda of my own." And with that, we will move to Wretch.
I almost want to make myself do a willpower check to not squint my eyes at this man, but I'll go take my seat. I'll be quiet. I'll watch his every move carefully.
Okay. What are you hoping? Are you hoping to, in the next 10 minutes of this explorational social encounter, is there anything that you're hoping to learn from investigation or through conversation, etc.?
I'm hoping to figure out if this man is a ghost, a vampire, or a demon, because it's one of those three. We've established that. So, I think I'll lead with a bunch of questions like, hey, in your life, which you're still living, have you had any unfinished business that you might think of? Or are you more of a nighttime kind of guy? Like we gotta get to the bottom of this, because that's fucked up. Nobody dodges a holy charm that smoothly and gets away from it with Wretch's presence.
Do you have any special abilities that I need to know about, or are you just raw stats here?
Would hard-headed apply?
I don't remember what hard-headed is, but I don't think you're taking blows to the head, so probably not.
It's when you're staggered or something, you can get rid of it.
Funny.
I do have Wraithbane, so if he is a ghost, I feel like you have to tell me, but otherwise, no. I don't have stats.
Alright. Give me a knowledge dark check.
Is he an animal?
Alright, 3 and 1.
Okay. As the conversation unfolds, something with your sketchometer going off, something that catches your eye, is that this figure has no shadow. Based off of the different light sources that you see around the room and other folks that are in the room, it doesn't seem to necessarily make sense. But with that, Bull, you can describe what you would like to do if you wanted to like try to sneak away while you're washing up or anything like that. Otherwise, you can just take your turn as having officially washed up and be with the group.
Can I thematically leave the bathroom?
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, Bull fumbles with the doorknob because he doesn't quite get it at first. So everybody's looking at the door, and then it finally opens, and you see kind of like Bull have to tilt his head sideways and duck down to fit through this door. And then when he stands back up, you see he's only got his loincloth on. And he just walks right out, or like just walks like right into the sitting room.
Saucy beef.
Sigolin, could you fetch our friend here one of my robes? Yes, master. And,
while he's distracted, can I do something? I know we're doing turn order, but like while he was looking at Bull, I was hoping to do something.
We'll get back to that on your next turn.
Sounds great.
So Sigolin leaves to get get a robe for Bull. Emery, is there anything that you'd like to do?
Okay, I'm sorry if I missed either of these, but do we know how have we figured out yet how the heck he knows of us, or B, like why he called us to his estate yet? I'm sorry if I missed it.
No, that has not come up yet. He has merely mentioned to Ilya that he does have an agenda of his own, since Ilya was like, this is what we want to do in town.
Sure.
And he was like, I want to suck their blood.
Yeah, so, Mr. Einwolf, sir, I don't mean to be terribly rude, but, I guess, I was surprised that we got your call. I was, surprised. So, how did you know about us? Did you hear about us from somewhere, or?
If it please, again. Oh, your computer finally crashed? Oh, that was a long time before that actually happened, though.
Mm-hmm.
You guys introduced yourselves, yes, at the front door?
I don't think we did.
I
I just said I'm Ilya of the Winterlands.
I am trying to remember. Sorry.
Gotcha.
No, I don't think
Yeah,
we...
somehow
we
the
introduced
carriage
ourselves.
driver knew who we were when he picked us up.
He didn't know you by name, though.
Or no, he just said pick up the 4 people that were walking this way or something like that.
He goes, dear, how does he put it? Guest of mine, I would most assuredly like to get to business, but I was hoping that we would engage in pleasantries first for at least a moment. Exchange names, break bread, and all of that will come in due course.
Oh, okay, sure. Sorry. Not used to this. We've been in the woods for a while.
No, I would not expect you to know the rules of my home. All the same as I would be, surely out of place in, such a land as the Woodlands. You might want to just hit the power button, because I know that it's been doing that way.
Is Sarah using your PC?
Yeah, we swapped over. It's got to be something associated with... Did you plug that in and then it shit the bed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
About 10 minutes after I plugged it in.
Yeah, that's about right. We figured out what the problem is. So,
Monitor or the
it's
webcam?
the monitor. It's got to be the monitor. Anyways. Just thinking about that. So, at that point, at the round initiative end there, Jacqueline comes out with a series of plates. She goes, surely appetizers are gonna be enough to quench your thirsts until I can finish with the ham. And she sets out on the coffee table where you guys are all seated with the couches at this point. She sets out sourdough bread with honey and a hot romagrat pudding. Offering up on the table mugs of the romagrat pudding, which is basically like a floury, sweet kind of pudding. And goes ahead and leaves. He goes, well, if it is your custom to speak directly to business, the reason why I called you to my home here is your, I don't know if you call them clan or tribe, but they have been harassing my people for a while now, and I thought it's time to maybe broker some sort of negotiation if you've slaked your thirsts on what the surrounding countryside has to offer for your kin. I would hate for any more violence to be deemed as necessary.
Are we...
Are we back in turn order?
Yeah.
And now we'll go to Ilya. So food has been served. He's kind of given you a quick statement that he interprets you guys as emissaries of a group that has been harassing the people in this area, so to speak. And yeah, Ilya. Sorry, yeah, Ilya.
So, we are familiar with the group that you're speaking of. They are a... If we're thinking of the same group, they're a band of warriors from the Sloan tribe in the Woodlands. Very fierce, very good at what they do, but we are not affiliated with them in any way. We followed their trail from the lumber mill, and we were concerned about how far their influence had spread, and if we could stop them ourselves. We have a similar goal in stopping the bloodshed, but we do not have the power to broker a peace with them or to stop them as a member of their group. we have to do it in a more adversarial manner.
Give me a leadership, charm, or negotiation check. Also take cool.
A triumph and 3 success.
So, having gotten a chance to say what you wanted to say, is there anything that you are hoping to accomplish over the next 10 minutes? Whether or not it's reading his demeanor, convincing him of something, telling something about the room during this time.
So, I still don't really know him or know about him. He says, I just know his name is Lord Einval, that he has some kind of leadership position in the village, and that he is connected to the granary, which may be distributing poison goods. So, first I want to convince him that we are not part of the enemy faction that he's worried about, but we're not here to mess around. That we are willing and able to eliminate that threat.
Okay.
Excuse me. And I'd like to be able to see, like,
that's a bit.
kinda like,
that's a
you
good.
know,
That's a good summary of what you can do at that time. So hold that thought. Because we're gonna move over to Wretch. Wretch, you had some at this point. You were seeing some stuff or hoping to see some stuff, while Einval had a distraction in the room. Let's circle back
Yeah.
to that.
So I feel like it's too long ago to go back in time. So just I kind of wait for whenever he's looking not at me, talking to someone else or something. And am I sitting next to Emery or am I out of arm's length?
We'll say that you guys are sitting on the same couch.
Okay. I elbow Emery pretty sharply in the ribs.
What?
We can't hear you.
I'm trying to whisper. Obviously, that doesn't work. But I whisper. What?
I like tilt my head towards the host, and then I put 2 fingers like near my incisors, and kind of like make a little.
Are you trying to be stealthy about this?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Give me a stealth roll. I'm gonna need one from both of you.
It'd be funny if I passed and she failed. Like I do all this successfully, and Emery's like, "What?"
Right.
There's a good chance of that.
vampire.
Horseshoe.
1 and 1.
2 and 0.
Okay. You see him do what he was gesturing.
Okay. So with that little like thing, I'm gonna be like, well, like you said, we don't have to get straight to business. Has he grabbed any food?
And so, as you're preparing to say all this, let's see what Bull does, because Bull's.
Oh,
next.
I'm sorry. I
No-
thought you
no
were saying
problem.
it was okay.
Depending on what you were gonna,
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
do or whatever. Bull. So you see that some food has been set out for the group as you've kind of chomped your way into the space. Is there anything that you would like to attempt to accomplish?
Has the robe been given to me yet?
Yeah. At this point, Jacqueline's come down with the robe and ran off into the kitchen.
Okay. So I put on the robe, and it only comes down to like just above my knee.
Yep. It's
Oh.
pretty damn large. This guy's kind of spherical.
Bulbous. Yeah, so it fits me in the shoulders weirdly enough, but it only comes down to like my knee.
Yep.
Oh, food. And he kind of lumbers over towards the wherever the food is and grabs like 2 handfuls of bread.
Nice. It's delicious, by the way. And as you eat up, you hear Emery cut in.
And, I mean, as you were saying, we don't mean to be rude. By all means, I mean, let's enjoy this meal. Because I'm trying, based on his thing, like, see if he'll eat food, right? If he's thinking, if Wretch is thinking he's a vampire, right? It's like, is he gonna eat what he served?
Yeah, he goes, quite. As a matter of fact, that jam is perfect on this bread. And he cuts a slice off. And
is it actually lore correct that vampires can't eat regular food?
In a lot of lore, they don't. They can't.
They just don't. But is it that they don't, or they
some
can't?
that makes them violently ill.
Yeah, and some they can't.
Okay.
I've seen What We Do in the Shadows, and if he vomits a rocket into the air, okay.
Right. He eats the sourdough bread with the jam and the honey.
Okay. I'm gonna help myself to a little bit of a serving too, then. But I kind of, if this is okay, if I'm going over bounds of what I should do in a turn, that's fine too. But like, they said there was a food spoilage, so I kind of want to like look at the food like and see if it seems fine or if it seems like there's signs that it's spoiled.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and give me a nature or medicine check.
Okay, I'll do a nature check. Okay. 3 success, 2 advantage.
Okay. The bread seems to be in fine quality. There's no, like, mold to it.
Okay.
You don't know if it's your anxiety or you're overthinking it or what though. But like you try the bread just plain without any of the other stuff on it and you're like, this is kind of a weird flavor. It's not bad, but it kind of gets into your head. You do take 2 strain.
Okay.
Yeah, I rolled a bunch of thread, so.
Yep. No, that makes sense. Yeah. So I very much just pick at it and kind of don't eat a lot of it because it's going to my head that something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to be rude and say anything either.
Right. So picking at the bread.
I kind of give a like if no one's well. Sorry. No. Go ahead.
One thing that you would know with growing up in the Gnarlwood, especially. So Wretch was like, monster, right? Mm-hmm. Something that you guys should be clear on is that, especially up in the Gnarlwood and by Holdenford, is that monsters are not exempt from the laws of chivalry. Because the laws of chivalry are what define sapient, right? So, like, if something's like, I'm gonna eat you, right? That's a monster, right? But there's something called the Restless, which are undead skeleton people who can show hospitality and communicate and operate as a law-abiding citizen. So, if you do come across things and you're able to be able to see that something isn't necessarily like human or isn't an orc or something like that, it does not necessarily give you like clean slate and I go in guns blasting, so to speak, right? Because there's just so many different things in this world, between like the Timbermen, which are walking tree monster looking dudes, to dragon kind like the Draken and the Greater Draken, etc. So it's something that crosses your mind with Resh being like, ah! And you're like, I hung out with monsters all the time growing up.
Yeah, that is.
I mean, how many societies probably would consider me a monster?
Yeah.
Especially when you cut off a friend's head. Oh, wait.
Wasn't our friend.
That wasn't
Have I done that?
Yeah, no.
Anyways.
I think all of us would be considered nightmares to a lot of people, so...
You hear a dinner bell ring, and Jacqueline goes, yoo-hoo! As she comes in, and she's got a large ham on a platter. And goes, well, I hope you all are hungry. As she goes in, and she sets it down on the main plate, sets the main plate onto the dining room table.
Now, when you say large ham, like, is it visibly a pig, or is it just a chunk of meat?
It is not visibly a pig. There are large slabs of like what would have been like a honey ham or whatever, but there's multiple different cuts. It's she actually ends up having to bring in 2 platters for all of the meat that is there. But it smells like ham. She's actually got a couple of berry type jams available as well, like a blackberry jam as well as a cranberry jam nearby. To serve over the meat. Very similar to what was served on the bread, but a little bit different. And then it is back to Einval's kind of turn. So he kind of looks at the food and looks at you guys and goes, well, before I continue, we do have... I'm sorry. I don't think I got your name there. Channeler of
Dahlia.
Dahlia, thank you. I got stuck on the D. Channeler of Dahlia. He's asking for your name.
Raventail.
Raventail. Maybe you would like to say a small blessing at the table here for over the food for the purposes of breaking fast.
I stand up and I pull up my little holy icon. I do a little twirl.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, Dahlia, please bless this meal. Yeah. I sit down.
He goes, marvelous. Well, it seems that Ilya, that we may have had a bit of miscommunication. I'm very glad that we will be of like minds moving forward. You see, the people of Bilchester, they've been having problems with the Woolland of late, and sorry if I may have jumped to conclusions, but it had come to my ears that this group here, without obvious, ignoring the obvious connections to the Woollands sitting at the table, it was also expressed that you had parlayed with one of the werewolves that had been scouring this area and killing the civilians of Bilchester.
How does he know all this?
Yeah, it's just like
That just happened to us.
Like last night.
So does he must have been watching.
So would I be able to notice that he doesn't cast a shadow?
If you would like to spend time looking for those sorts of things, but one other thing I would say is that if you plan on having and holding dialogue for this portion of this meal, you're probably not going to be as observant as someone who's sitting back and not talking and watching stuff, right? So it is now your opportunity to speak if you would like.
I think I'll do that.
Okay, then you won't have the opportunity to be like looking around too well.
need to establish a communication standard within the group that if you notice something hinky, we like do some sign language.
Kinky?
It's
Like-
apparently this.
Rare.
It gets the point across, don't it?
It's like the scene.
Bull
from
has
Dune.
yet to even notice that there's anything weird going on.
Yeah, that checks
He just
out.
notices the free food, and there's running water, which is probably unusual for Bull. So try to be diplomatic about it. Like, yes, we did parlay with a werewolf. What I've discovered, I am not a resident of the Woodlands. I am a Norn, and in the time that I've been with my compatriots in the past few twillets, I've realized that what may seem like an obvious conflict with an obvious solution of violence, there's always a lot more at play. And sometimes to drive to the greater goal, which in our case was something a lot bigger with far greater consequences in the Woodlands, that we have to get familiar with the players and get even just a handle on what's really going on out there. And the werewolf in question, Rolf, is more than just a werewolf. He is also the key to solving the issue, in part solving the issue of the Woodland attacking human settlements outside of the Woodlands, and also a much broader, more intense conflict within the Woodlands. And he is also the one who pointed us towards the grain spoilage that's happening in Bilchester, and another plague that may be causing your people suffering and agony.
He's nodding along affirmatively as you're speaking. He goes, "You speak on the two heart issues that have troubled my people. It is good that we're of like minds. I was thinking, what do I have to do around here to get this werewolf's teeth out of my back? What do I have to do around here to get rid of these marauders? Nah, I can work on this food spoil, but I can't do much about marauders." And you hear the front door open and shut. And Einval kind of looks over his fat shoulder towards that way, and there's a gnoll in the doorway. He appears to be, he's armed, but he kind of like looks over around the corner and kind of leans up against the wall, and Einval kind of like gestures towards him, kind of like a hold on sort of gesture.
Does he stand out like an anime character, like the one from our fight the other night?
He's in the shadows. He looks a little bit more like a Strider sort of disposition right now, sitting up back there.
So it's not the one that we don't talk about?
If you would like to spend your turn trying to figure out what you're looking at over there, that's plenty fine. We'll get there in a moment. So he looks back. He's acknowledged the Bilchester food spoil as an issue. He's acknowledged that he wants to get these marauders gone. Ilya. So you feel like you're kind of jiving along on those topics. And he goes to stand up as Wretch. If you want to do anything, let me know. He's at this point kind of shuffling over towards where that knoll was.
Most people seem more fine with it, but is he out of earshot?
You can whisper something. In fact, the
Vampires
knoll
here.
starts whispering something to him.
All right, I'll whisper to Emery quick, and I'm like, he has no shadow.
Oh. Oh.
Oh,
If you
I'll
can,
give you that specific info.
If you, I'll just have you give me a stealth check.
Shit!
The difficulty is easier.
can
Better
Bull
be.
help him be stealthy?
Bull doesn't even know what I'm saying.
Right?
It's
Bull-
stand between him and Lord Einval.
Bull, if you'd
Morning.
like to shuffle around in the chair, that's plenty fine. If you see your friend, like, from earlier,
Have we started eating yet,
yes.
or are we still just talking?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, there's
So-
eating going.
So what happens is like Bull goes to reach and he grabs like a big slab of meat, like one of the whole slabs of meat, and goes to bring it back over his table, and he knocks something over on the table, trying to get it back to his plate.
Okay, gotcha.
1 and 3.
Okay, yeah, with bowls clanging around and with Einval
Distract.
trying to hear something else, you don't notice any sort of like him looking back or anything like that. Besides the obvious there, so Einval eventually turns back. Don't mind the cups. It's no big deal. It's wooden floors for a reason. It cleans up nicely. And he goes back to sit back down. And Emery, sorry, Bull. Is there anything Bull would like to do at this point?
He is just stuffing his face.
Okay. Emery.
Did that food taste normal? I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you as the player, not me as the
She's saying.
No, I do have to say, Emery does not eat meat. And she is not in the forest, so that is a fact. So I'm just, like, she just kind of like, ooh, oh, it's really, like, nothing of this is, like, something I could serve. Like, she might, like, grab some of the jam and kind of just awkwardly, like, put it on her plate just to be polite, right? Like, but she can't really eat anything else he put out, and she's not gonna say it, right?
What about the honey?
Well, I had the honey and the bread for the first course, like, I tried some, right?
Give me a charm check.
Like, because she definitely doesn't want to be like, actually, do you guys have anything that's not meat?
Right.
But-
Actually,
Okay, so... 2 success, 3 advantage.
So, as you're doing that, you see a small kind hand is placed on your forearm. As Jacqueline goes, "Oh, honey, it'll be just a moment. It took a lot longer for me than I expected for the balsamic to reduce, but we do have a Brussels sprout dish coming quite soon."
Oh, that's very lovely. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course. Is there anything else I can get you? We do have a few oranges I could press for a small drink.
Oh, it's more than enough. Don't worry about it.
She smiles at you and heads back into the kitchen.
And, now that Wretch has brought attention to this guy, something being really off with this guy, I want to think about, obviously you said, I know a lot of things, like, a lot of oddball, monstery things from that used to prowl in the, like, Gnarlwood. I now know he has no shadow. I know, you know, like, I'm just trying to, like, piece together by watching him and from what I've know so far, like, what sort of creature he could be, if anything.
Right. Give me a knowledge dark check.
I want a horseshoe.
Okay.
Oh, 5 success flat.
5 success flat. So something that occurs to you. You know, you dealt with a lot of talks about things that go bump in the night, right? But not a lot of the things that go bump in the night live embedded in a society, right? And so that kind of rules a lot of things out. Knowing that, at this point, something that just faintly catches you is that Jacqueline, she seemed to have like a very heavy smell on her, like the balsamic had spilled on her clothes, right, as she had mentioned before. Very sick. And it kind of made you think about the gnolls that you ran into early, right?
They had not smelled.
What was that?
I just remembered that you said that they had a peculiar smell about them.
Yeah. And you haven't really, like, smelt Einfall yet, but that smell and that kind of feeling that you felt earlier makes you think of, like, decay. And that's kind of as much as you can get in the time that you have, right?
Sure. Noted.
And with that, the Einval smiles, and the gnoll leaves the space. He goes, Sorry about that. It's just a small matter of making sure all the sheep are attended by the shepherd, you know." And yeah, he goes and sits back down. I don't know if you noticed coming into town. Luca is one of many to have fallen prey to your Herondodolph character, or player, as you might say. I apologize for assuming that he was a friend of yours, but
They tried to kill us.
He is very handsome. What?
your
Fucking furries.
youth, it's wasted on some of us, but on others, you gotta take your opportunities as they come. Anyways, Luca is one of many of this community that have had their previous lives taken from them. I have tried to introduce them into my employment, because many of their family members will not take them back, as they've changed and they think it is a horrid representation of the malice of the woods.
Oh.
So, sorry, I just want to clarify something for myself real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Herondodolph was saying that he was, like, turning people into gnolls to, like, heal them, right? That was what he was saying?
That is what he was saying.
And this guy's saying that obviously that doesn't make people like like okay, that makes sense. Their families have a hard time accepting that. So okay.
Basically.
Yes.
Got it.
So, I employ them. I even give them some space to live. There's a small community on the edge of town. That is where the gnolls that have returned taken up shop. I simply count it a blessing that some have survived the attacks. Other villagers have not. And we will go back to the top of the round with Ilya.
So I mentioned another plague that's happening among his people besides the grain spoilage, and he kind of skirted over that. I also feel like something is not right to Ilya here.
You can ask. So he mentioned he acknowledged the grain spoilage, but only slightly. If you'd like to steer the conversation back to that is plenty fine.
Not really. I want to suss the guy out, like, because I remember that as a player, and Ilya would remember this because he perceived it, that there was an odor about the knoll. I just want to. I'm looking for deja vu. Like, what do I smell? What do I see?
Yeah, sure. Give me a perception check. And before you tell me the results, rather than just being like, I would like to sense for anything, what are you smelling for, looking for?
Well, what the knoll smelled like.
Okay.
Because I feel like the grain spoilage and all of that business are related, so...
Sure.
Uh, 3 and 1.
You smell around with as Einval makes back for his seat, and what you catch is a very strong overcurrent of perfume. He's got some sort of cologne that he's using or something like that. It seems to be masking something, and you can tell there is that smell that was coming from the knolls. However, you are not subtle enough with your uncancelled threat. As he's sitting down, you're like, sort of thing. And he looks at you.
I like your manly stench, sir.
And he goes, "Isn't Jacqueline's cooking the best?"
Oh, I'm sorry. I have spent a lot of time in the woodlands where everything smells like death and bark. So when I smell something human, when I smell something human and civilized, it immediately catches my attention.
Do you like wink at him when you say that?
No.
When I smell something human and civilized.
Sure sounds like you're trying to hit on him.
Civilized, full-bodied,
Give me
classy.
either a deception or a cool check.
Or a charm. I mean, let's see where it goes.
Yeah, I mean, one way to solve the issue, right?
He doesn't have a shadow.
I love the smell of overcompensation.
He doesn't have a shadow, but he might have a heart.
Yeah.
Or a whole
Oh,
chest.
fuck. No. So, would our horseshoe, is that a once per day or once per...
Once per day.
Fuck.
You already used it today?
Probably. You guys got a long rest in after the fight with Rondatrolf.
Yeah, then we just go from there pretty much to this carriage.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
What did you use it on?
I used it on... I had a perception or something. I ended up re-rolling it and doing fantastically. Whatever it was.
I think you might have done it during the Monday session.
It was such a good use! If only I remembered what it was!
And
what did you roll
I want
today?
to say that it was for something that I had ranks in. I know that.
think back to that, and whatever it was it more worth it than re-rolling hitting on a ghost vampire?
Yeah, this could be funny. I think it was an investigation check as I was coming into town.
What did you get?
Can I fail upwards? I rolled 3 advantage.
3 advantage.
Like, well, I've got something human and civilized in my chambers if you'd like to investigate that.
Yes, this is the plot.
You don't have any chambers.
Einval kind of like tilts his head just a moment and goes, "Well, I hope everyone is enjoying the food." And Jacqueline brings out those balsamic glazed Brussels sprouts to go with the rest of it here.
Just pin in that I'm interacting with her on my turn. So.
Okay. Wretch.
Actually, can I say what I was going to do, because it might be more appropriate for Wretch's turn, if that's okay? Like,
Sure. Wretch, if you'd be okay with Sarah jumping your turn.
I'm fine with anything Mallory decides to do.
hey!
Ah!
None of that! No, as she goes, I'm just gonna be like, oh, thank you so much, but are you feeling okay? I kind of like reach out and grab her hand. You know, my friend here, he's an experienced healer. You're feeling under the weather. And I kind of give Wretch like one of the like.
Okay, give me a deception check.
Kill this woman so we can find out if they're undead or not.
A deception, sure. Uh, 2 and 2.
She goes, she kind of chuckles for a moment and goes, "Oh, don't worry, love. Einval is, he drives, hard home, but, it's my preference to stay this busy." And, she, kind of kindly removes your hand from hers.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Wretch.
I haven't touched the food. Oh, I don't like this guy. Oh,
EBGB.
what stats am I good at? Okay, I have a lot of knowledge, people. Is that orc still around?
Orc?
There was an orc that was at the door.
No.
He was holding the horses.
No, he's not in the room.
Okay, so the only people in the room are Einval and sometimes the maid.
Einval, sometimes the maid, and also there is the driver, Sigolin. He's actually sitting by the fire.
Okay. Hmm. I'm gonna excuse myself and go to the restroom.
Yeah, I could use a bathroom break.
No, I meant like.
Of course. And then also, does anyone need to go to the like quick bio break for anyone?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, Einval's fine with it.
All right. Am I being escorted, or do they assume I know where I'm going?
No, the Sigolin showed you guys where the restroom was, and it just beyond the restroom front entryway is the kitchen where the maid is.
Yeah, I don't go to the bathroom. I just keep walking towards that kitchen.
Okay. I'm gonna just kind of. So just for context, anyways. So,
Huh?
I don't know if that helps, actually, what you guys can see and whatnot, but
Why did you have a map prepared?
Because I need context to understand what things are going on. So you go
Yeah, 'cause
down.
we might walk around the house.
So, right?
We might start a fight with the
Okay.
ghost.
Sorry. Blair. Okay. Open.
Or, you know,
Okay.
walk outside of the hallway and wonder what the room looks like.
Yeah.
It's not suspicious.
So. Is that even? No, okay. That's not my thing. This is the kitchen. And that's, yeah. I think you can see what you're looking for. So, stairs on your left. Kitchen straight forward. Door to your right opens up. There's a front door, a closet, as well as a washroom.
Alright, I see Sarah trying to steal my idea in the YouTube chat. I don't appreciate that. But I'm going for the kitchen.
Okay.
I'm not sneaking.
Okay, yeah. You walk in.
It's
Okay.
amazing though.
Did you need something, love?
Can I appraise her and like check for a shadow, like
Yeah.
kind of give her a once over? Any tentacles anywhere there shouldn't be?
Yeah. Give me a perception check.
One and one.
1 and 1. It's kind of hard to tell in this space, but if you would like to awkwardly pause, you can and stare at her feet. You can try to confirm if she has a shadow or not.
I'll make it obvious. I'll check if she has a shadow.
Looking at her feet and at the fire of the lanterns as well as the cooking hearth and stuff, she leans down a little bit and goes, "You're all right," and waves her hand in front of your face. But in that time, you notice that she also has no shadow.
I put both my hands in my pockets. One hand pulls out the holy icon. The other hand has the dagger, but I keep it in my pocket.
Okay.
Would you say it?
So
Would you say it? Sorry.
You're like,
You hold a crucifix in front of her?
yeah. You're
Oh.
like,
Okay. But here's the thing. So my next phrase is gonna make it more clear what I was doing. I was gonna be like, "Would you say a prayer with me?" And like hold it out to her.
She goes, "Oh, Dahlia, huh? Well, I'm mighty busy right now. Is there... Are you feeling downtrodden, young? Are you feeling downtrodden there, wee one?"
Okay. So I'm gonna attempt a coercion check, but if you want me to wait for another round, that's also fine.
We will do that. We'll wait real quick.
I'm
Sounds
sorry,
good.
did you say what species she was?
She's human.
Human? Okay.
Allegedly. Humans have shadows.
Emery.
I just meant, like, is she also a gnoll, or...
Yeah, so she's human. Emery, you see Wretch get up from the table. What would you like to do? Or what is there anything in particular you'd like to accomplish?
So, what's the conversation at present again? Was that we were trying to steer him back towards talking about the food spoil, or what? Like, sorry, where is that dialogue at?
That's kind of what he was. So at this point, he's basically said, "I've got a problem with the raiders and with the werewolves." Ilya's mentioned that you guys could potentially help with that, but are a bit cryptic on how you intend to help. You just basically mentioned that you are third parties, and at this point, he's acknowledged the food spoil, but you guys haven't really.
I thought Dustin had said he was steering him back.
No, I was taking a whiff.
He decided to snip him instead.
How could you forget about that?
Excited.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yep. I am sorry to hear about the food spoil, though. I'm glad to see that everything, you've been more than hospitable, but I hope we're not putting you out by taking, like, how do I put it, like that the fresh goods are like a rare commodity. However, you know what I mean, like.
Nonsense. The trade industry has been kind to me. And, we have seen ourselves into this peculiar situation, but this is what we call cost of doing business, yeah. So, feeding a few folks and taking the time to establish a relationship is food well spent. Look outside. You'll see in the town there are folks who are willing to work, and there are folks who are much quicker to easy solution. And right now, the food spoil is really harsh on the folks who are looking for quick grabs. See, since the surge of the Fonts of Ranvalar, the fields are all rotten. But I have figured out a solution to the grain. If you take long enough to dry it, you can much easier tell the good from bad. And, of course, that process takes time, and then you have bad grain no one knows what to do with. And so folks get angry when grain costs, or when flour costs increase. They want their grain and they want it now. Some folks eat it anyways. Some folks think you can still use it for beer. I don't know about that one. I've had a little luck with the bad grain, feeding it to livestock. But the good grain I've been able to parse out and give it back. The gnolls have been very, very useful in guarding the granary, guarding the flour mill. Otherwise, folks would just break in and take it. So, even though I know a community is this small, you think we're all friends and neighbors, but as they say, hard times make strangers of us all.
The Fonts of Ranvalar, I know I've heard that before, but was that the R&D 6 thing, or
So
is that something?
the Fonts of Ranvalar are from Agatas. They open them up, and it's the rivers that all go streaming down through Lemoore, and they wash the streets clean. And so they ran them after all of the nasty stuff from R&D 6. So what that did is it pushed a lot of toxic shit out into the fields.
Got it. Okay. Because one of my thoughts was like, wait, does the water flow this way, right? Like from the river? But that makes sense when you say that. Okay.
And so with that, we'll go back up to... Actually, I feel like we skipped Bull.
Yeah, you did skip Bull.
Oh.
But it's okay, because all he's going to do is look at Ilya, look at the food in front of Ilya, because all the food within Bull's reach is gone. And he's like, you going to eat that?
I'm gonna push the plate towards him. Is like, you've suffered a lot more than I have.
I just grabbed the big chunk of meat that's sitting in front of him.
Recover 3 HP with how much food you're eating.
Stuffs his wounds with ham.
Gross!
You done with that ham? Yeah. Good, I need it for skin.
Yeah. Who manages?
So at this point, the rest of the food has been served, and it is back to Ilya's turn as everyone is starting to like pat their stomachs and lean back, and Einval says quickly, he goes, I am I've got to say, none of you have touched your plates, but one of you has touched all of your plates, so, I think... I don't know how you guys choose to eat amongst your group, but...
Oh, these Brussels sprouts are delicious.
I'm very hopeful that you have found this table liking. Otherwise, Jacqueline would just turn over in her grave, so to speak.
Man, this guy is spooky. Well, I wouldn't.
You just
No,
wouldn't.
nothing to do with the pleasantness of the table. We have very rare for us to sit at a table and eat, and I've developed the habit of, after a hard-fought battle, just eating my fill as much as possible with my rations, and didn't want to engorge myself and be rude my own way.
Yeah, we all have our customs. So as it stands, you seem to be third party to my troubles. It's puts me at an impasse. I was hoping for a solution for negotiation with the warband, but maybe there is still some solution here before us. Some way to solve these plights I'm dealing with. And I'm, quite frankly, still at a bit of a loss as for your presence here, other than hoping to meet maybe some of the representatives of Bilchester.
We're here to stop the marauders.
Stop the marauders, investigate the grain spoilage, and there's another sickness that Herondadrolf spoke of. It was the reason for his attacks. Mentioned it earlier, but you may not have caught it.
Well, if you're looking to solve the food spoil, we're managing, but that is a sickness that comes from Lamore itself. And that is something I have decided not to keep as little time in that down as possible. No offense to anyone who is Limeran's suburbanite. As far as the marauders, consider me your patron. If there's something I could do to supply you, to go and deal with them, by all means. I'll even be willing to give you a carriage.
So did Herondadrolf mention... Because I feel like he may have described the change or the transformation that was occurring with the people of Bilchester.
Nope, not really. He mentioned a kind of a dark perversion to them, and that his god is driving him to slay them. But
Okay.
he didn't really get into like a profile of what the hell was causing his concern. Unless you guys can recall something.
I cannot. I'm trying to hint that I know that something else is going on. Without accusing him of being a spook.
So he continues. The Bilchester food spoil, as he said, that's a Lamore thing. He's struggling through it. The Marauders, that's something that he'd be willing to be your patron if you're willing to deal with. As far as what reason this werewolf has for attacking these villagers, he seems to be on a tear against the whole town. I can bring Luca back here if you'd be willing to talk to Luca. I mean, they're people. My people.
Yes, and I did not call Herondadrolf for a friend, knowing the pain and suffering that he's caused these people. I make no effort to excuse it, but someone and something like him is not whimsical in his violence. Myself am trying to understand it, and the only perspective I've had is of the perpetrator of that violence. So you can understand why I'm not willing to take what he says quite at face value.
Okay, and right there, we'll go over to Wretch quick because he's got some stuff going on.
There we go.
So, I'm still holding the Dahlia icon out. And what did she last say to me, like, specifically? She was saying something like, "Are you feeling okay?" or whatever, right?
Yeah, because you're like, pray with me, and she's like, are you alright? Is there
Trouble
something
soul.
that's troubling you?
What's troubling me is everybody I've met since coming to this town. Not this little town, more of a generic town. The whole forest is a town, apparently, because everybody lives there. Is everything's trying to kill me constantly. That's not great. So I come into this house with suspicious people who suspiciously know who we are and suspiciously do suspicious things. And don't want to touch an icon of Dahlia. That seems kind of fucked up. You don't have a shadow. That's not something you can forget. It's not something you can leave at home. That's a fucked up thing not to have. Your master doesn't have a shadow. Sigourney Weaver was my driver, and I thought she was doing better than that in life. And I just am very confused. Now, if it weren't for the laws of chivalry, my companions and I, well, one specific companion might be splattering a lot of blood around this place, if you have that. And the other three of us would kindly want to leave very quickly. I'm confused, I'm mad, and I'm very tired. Why don't you want to touch this? And I'm hoping to use coercion. That whole speech was part of my coercion.
Yeah. Okay, give me a coercion roll.
It's based off willpower, so I get 5 dice. Nice. Okay. 4 and 3, not bad.
Okay.
Which one of your companions would be spilling blood, by the way?
As
You! If I walked in and I said they're monsters, you'd be like, alright, let's kill them.
So as you
Violence
start,
like one?
as you start raising your voice, the gnoll that had walked in, presumably Luca from earlier, opens the front door and starts walking in, hearing this noise, and you can see genuine fright on the face of Jackal. She goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. I meant no offense. It's not all of us are partial to the same lords. Not all of us are partial to the same gods." And she backs up towards the wash basin over here, as I'm assuming you are now into the kitchen there. At this point, you guys around the table kind of hear this as Einval stands up at his from his spot there as well, and I'll give you Bull next. What do you hearing this going on in the room across the way? Do you have any sort of response?
I have a steak knife clenchedly held in one of my fists.
Nice. Okay.
And I am now paying full attention to what's going on in the room.
Okay. Emery.
Oh, Oh, gosh. Sorry, it's been quite a long day. Very tense. We had quite an ordeal with Rondra before this, and I think we're at a bit of our wits' end. I mean, more than one of us almost died, and Wretch has very graciously kept us alive through all of that, but, so I'm trying to, like...
Where are your goddamn shadows?
Okay, so give me a charm roll,
Yep.
and I'm gonna have you roll against Wretch's coercion.
Alright. I got a triumph, 2 success, and an advantage.
What was your roll, Wretch?
4 and 3.
4 and 3. So if you spend the triumph, you'll still be at 3 success.
Yeah.
Okay. Einval speaks up and goes. He stands up from the table, but he looks over his shoulder like this, where he's not really looking at anyone. He's just directing his attention behind him, sort of thing. And goes, Wretch, as my guest, we have shown you nothing but chivalry and compassion. We come from different cultures. Now, if you would like to discuss the differences in our cultures, please have a seat at the couches by the fire.
Look,
As I come back in, I guess. I'm like, is not having a shadow a cultural thing?
do you actually say that?
Yes.
Okay, so as you do, and make your way back into the space, Einval stands up completely. And at this point, he slowly turns towards you. And as he does, he looms in a way that only one other person in the room can loom. He seemed taller than he was before.
I fear nothing.
And he looks down upon you. And even though he has no shadow, you feel like you are caught in a darkness emanating from him.
If people being taller than me is supposed to be scary, I have bad news for you about my normal height.
Observing this, can Bull stand up quickly, like so quickly that the chair flies out from behind him?
Yeah, give me one moment, and yes, you can do that in the background. But,
Okay.
as you question the shadow thing, he goes, There are far more certain attributes that guarantee the depravity of one's soul and actions. But if you'd like to get into manners of witchcraft and theology, I am certainly one who has dabbled in those questions. But I will not have you accosting my maid in my own house.
Anybody else want to hop in, or?
Yeah.
Why don't we just get out of your hair? I mean, I don't.
I'm gonna hold my hand up to Emery for a second here, unless are we in turn order again?
No, that's
Go
okay.
ahead. You can
Go
talk
hold my
over
hand.
her. It would have been very meek, like, we could leave.
I'm gonna
Sort
hold
of.
my hand up to Emery as like, you smell of decay, and so did the people that we encountered out in the fields that Hirondajolf had turned into gnolls. All we want is transparency. Why don't you cast a shadow, and why doesn't your cook? This is not an invitation to any further trouble or violence.
We are cursed.
What?
Need I unveil more? Or is the plights of the food spoil, and the werewolves, and the marauders, and the guests turning a good evening sour not enough to prove that we are cursed?
Wait, what was the first part he said?
So we are cursed.
Ah,
Is there just
you have my... I don't want to come off as patronizing. You have my sympathies. Is that... This is the conversation I was hoping to have after we established that you were dealing with the food spoil. So I'm not here to cast aspersions, but I'm not here to cast aspersions, and I'm not here to... cast aspersions. We are not here to harm or accost anyone. But when I feel that there's something more going on, I want to understand, and if it's a curse, perhaps it can be lifted, and perhaps it can be lifted by us.
No, I don't think it can. Now, Luca, as the gnoll enters the room behind Wretch. He goes, if you may forgive me, this has dampened my mood for the night. You are welcome to stay in the guests' quarters, provided that you don't sully this house any further. Or, Luca may see you out. There is an inn down the road, called... Sorry? There's an inn down the road called the Waiting Mouse. I'm sure Franz Gordeau has rooms for you.
Way to jump to conclusions again, everybody.
He doesn't have a shadow. That's not a conclusion. That's an observation.
Okay, to defend my character, not me, but to defend my character,
Not me.
I'm a religious zealot, and then I walk to this house, and the guy doesn't want to touch the holy icon, and I have several talents about, like, fucking up evil. Like, I have Wraithbane and all this stuff, so...
Yeah,
You're seeing the not-so-nice side of the paladin. So that one's just me playing into Wretch's character, where it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why don't you like Dahlia?
you don't want to
So,
be healed? Too bad!
I don't expect everyone else to be like, yeah, Wretch is right. I'm just saying this is what he would do.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe why don't we stay at the inn? We don't want to impose on your generosity any further. Yeah, guys.
Yep, let's go. We've overstayed our welcome.
I want to stay here.
He says with like his gut like bulging out. He's like, I don't think I can, move from the chair. I ate
If we leave,
two
if
hams.
we leave here, I have to put my armor on again.
Can I keep the robe?
Got like barbecue sauce stains on it.
But no, Bull actually doesn't want to leave.
Well, his accommodations are excellent. I think that it's better better for the situation if we head to the inn. But
Okay.
Do you know the last place where the marauders were spotted recently?
Bull is asking that to the
Mm-hmm.
dude. Okay. Sorry.
I presume so.
I gotta pull it up here.
I mean, we've all been cursed in our own right before, haven't we? You guys remember what happened to us in the forest.
we've also been to the
Yeah.
afterlife, and I got exploded.
Last time I saw them, sorry, last word I got is that they were up nearby Brunjov's knoll.
Runyoff?
Brunjov's knoll.
Brunjov's knoll.
Okay.
Say that 5 times fast.
Brunjofs. Brunjov's plural, and then knoll. Knoll.
Okay. Yeah.
Good day.
Can I ask something? Like, just about the shadow thing.
Mm-hmm.
Has Emery's character had positive, like, or neutral dealings with things that didn't have a shadow in the Gnarlwood? Like, I'm just trying to... You know what I mean? Like, because I know I've dealt with a lot of, like, monsters and things, so I'm just trying to
Roll
distinguish...
a d20.
You know, like, it's like, well, yeah, all Restless don't have shadows, but they're nice enough, you know? Just trying to get a gauge for myself for role-playing. 18.
18. I'll say yes then. You have had dealings. I would say that you've maybe come across. Actually, you came across one other entity for sure that had no shadow. They took your family.
Wait, didn't she ask about good dealings?
And I had her roll
That
a
was a
d20
good
to see if
dealing.
she had any dealings with entities.
Okay,
up there.
dealings, not good. I was like, how is that good?
And I was like, now that you rolled the d20,
Her
it
family
makes
suck.
sense that you'd come across that.
So Ephemria was...
Ephemeria had no shadow.
Alright, okay, I guess I'm more on Wretch's side then. Got it. I was gonna be, like, more understanding, and then you tell me that, so... Well, fuck it. Good job jumping to conclusions, buddy.
Oh, there's one other one. 1 second.
Okay.
I don't feel particularly like I'm in the wrong when... I mean, I know he's pissed I'm in his house, but the fact that he just, like, tripled his silhouette and started looming over me, like...
Right?
That doesn't exactly scream... Yeah, I was wrong about this one, guys. He seems pretty nice.
Yeah, Ilya was ready to throw down. My sword can kill anything.
Hey now, if somebody came into your house and was like, I think you're a vampire.
Why don't your
I
I
somebody
didn't make a specific
comes in your house?
accusation.
Why don't your lights work? I'm gonna kill you if you
thought-
don't tell me why your
you
lights
thought
don't work.
You thought your genitals were a private part of you? How sensitive do you think people are about their shadows?
Yeah,
Not very.
yeah.
Ilya
Okay.
does not have the intellect to be able to make specific accusations. He just knows something's wrong here and he don't like it.
Yeah, that's like going up to an amputee and being like, I noticed you don't have a leg. What's wrong with you?
Now, if somebody invited you into their house and it smelled like rotting meat,
There's context clues here, damn
Maybe
it.
their freezer died, okay?
and you know what? If being rude got me out of Jeffrey Dahmer's house, I would be rude.
I'd be rude all the time.
Or would it just get you killed faster?
Did
Hey,
any of
I-
Jeffrey Dahmer's victims have a big sword? I think not.
Do you
I
currently have a
acknowledge-
big sword?
If you
I
buy me
acknowledge
dinner.
this could be going a lot worse when I said if we weren't under, like, the laws of chivalry or whatever, there might be blood being painted all over your house. Like, I mapped out a scenario that could be going worse. So
It also could have been a threat.
it was a threat, but it also could be a lot worse. You were very rude and ruined my evening, but we didn't kill you.
It's true.
You're welcome.
Don't let your friends use your friends as threats.
So here's the thing. He picked up 4 very dangerous strangers on the side of the road.
Let's be honest, 3.
At some
dangerous
point,
strangers.
this is his fault.
Ooh,
Oh,
casting
wait.
shade.
There's no way
are
you're
we?
casting it out at me. Okay, I get it. It's Bull who's not a threat. I get it.
Yeah, the
I mean,
hunger is
Bull's the one
tearing
that
us
wants to
apart. All right. So, it seems like Bull is staying. Ilya's undecided.
What? No, I'm leaving.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
where?
Well, when we start heading towards the door, I'll be like, Bull, we'll find you in the morning.
Your witchcraft tutor was Tyrlot Halfbreed, and she wouldn't have had a shadow either.
Oh. What was?
Well, Emery's back on their team.
Wait. So you're saying whoever taught me witchcraft?
Yeah, in the coven that you learned some of your witchcraft from.
You were in a coven? That's suspicious.
Well, she wasn't really in the coven. Tyrlot Halfbreed was in the coven,
Okay.
but
Corbino.
He's Corbanto.
because they were a swamp troll.
Oh,
Good for them.
that's a big shadow to be missing.
That is a big shadow to be missing. Okay, so you guys leave the house? I take it?
Yeah, as soon as we start to leave, I finally let go of the obsidian dagger in my pocket.
Alright. Luca sees you guys out.
Excuse me, sorry.
And he's got, as you guys leave, he's got a bit of a grin to his face.
Why is he grinning?
Something you find particularly interesting, son?
As you guys are walking down the road, it occurs to you, you might have seen that knoll before.
Wait a minute. Did we see that gnome before?
Don't I know you from somewhere?
I imagine you guys talking about this as you're putzing down the road. So you guys were here, roughly speaking, on the map.
Bull still is.
Bo, are you staying there?
We said we'd find him in the
No,
morning.
I guess not.
Hey, you're a strong, independent bull. You do what you want to do.
You can say if you want, but
Okay, fine. I'm staying with him.
Okay.
I'm making new friends.
As the three of you guys head down the road, it occurs to you you might have recognized Luca. Meanwhile, Einval says, Bo, you've been a right picturesque guest in my house here. Feel free, there are 4 beds in the guest chambers. You can push them together however you see fit. They're not necessarily originally intended for men of our stature, or I should say your stature, as grand as you are.
Ooh.
I thank you, and I would like to apologize on the behalf of my friends. We have been in some particularly hairy situations of late, and they're all on edge.
I can't expect folks to have managed to maintain a velvety complexion and have yet withered and endured in such harsh climates. And
So like, what about what time is it right now?
it's like 9:30.
At night?
Yeah.
Okay.
So go and see to his rooms, and he shows you there's a door right behind the living room area that he shows is the bedding space. There's 4 beds there, but he He starts pushing them together to make a bigger bed for you.
As we pass through the entryway, I'm gonna gather up my stuff and take it into the room with me.
Yep. Meanwhile, what's the rest of you doing?
I'm having a goddamn fit, but I don't know what these two are doing.
So we're walking.
I'm gonna
down
say,
the
I'm gonna
street
mention
to-
it outright. Like he, at that Luca guys, I think we've encountered him before, haven't we?
Where?
Is he still within sight?
No, he's gone back into the house.
You think he was one of the gnolls from earlier with Herondadrov?
And if he is, then if he is, then he was changed after getting affected by whatever Lord Einval's malaise is.
So quick question on that. Were there some of them that got away other than Bruno?
There was one other one that got away that was chasing Bruno.
That was chasing Bruno.
Yep.
Okay, okay. And gnolls, I don't think we've ever really run into gnolls other than just recently.
They're around.
Okay.
You took a ship from Holdenford across the Crystal Tarn that was captained by a gnoll.
Are you telling me this is the captain of the ship?
Right? Yeah. You guys, the guy that you guys treated, the captain, a while back of the ship that you guys eventually went back to, was a gnoll.
You're just like, yeah, it was that guy. Like, what?
Right.
Wow, that's a weird coincidence.
No, I'm confused. It's not that guy, right?
It's not that guy.
Okay. Making
What a
sure.
change of career for him.
Right?
Went from captain to manservant.
Yeah. Didn't want to get back on a boat after that, I guess. Can't really blame him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame him.
Everything smelled so sour afterward.
Well, yeah. I don't like it. There's... this place smells fishy. Sorry, I'm talking to Ilya and Emery.
Well, there is a river right there.
You're not even here to be throwing your wit.
Well, Bull doesn't have wit anyway.
Fair.
He would
Um,
mean that literally, and it would be much funnier.
You guys think Bull's gonna be fine, right? I mean, there's the whole laws of chivalry and everything, right? So,
I think if anybody would be fine, it would be Bull.
If they break the laws of chivalry first, they're gonna regret it.
and just so you, not everybody without the shadow is bad. A lot of them without shadows are bad. But I've met at least one person that was actually particularly nice. But I don't know. What if we're wrong about this? I mean, Herondadrov could have been crazy. We know that the hunger's driving people crazy, and something's wrong with Cinder. What if, like, he's not right in the head, and he's thinking he's making people better, and he's just turning them into gnolls, and...
I need the three of you to give me a vigilance check.
Oh,
Okay. I have something to say to Emery, though. So I
Yes.
hope this doesn't get interrupted because we're actually having a character moment.
1 and 1.
6 and 3.
0 and 2.
Okay. As you're speaking, you feel a sense of Emendaja, but continue. All three of you feel the sense of Emendaja.
Okay. So this exact quote is responding to the whole "not everybody with a shadow is evil" thing. Yes, I know that. Not everybody with a bloody knife is a murderer. They could be a butcher or something like that. It's a symptom. But go into a house, smells like death. They mysteriously know who we are. They don't have shadows. They don't answer questions. They don't want to touch an icon of Dahlia. Something's messed up there. This stinks. This stinks of evil. And And when I confronted him, I felt a cold presence, and he grew in size. Something's not right there. This isn't some innocent victim of a curse that can be lifted. Otherwise, he'd be seeking my help. He wouldn't be trying to intimidate me. He wouldn't be trying to turn into some fucking monster to cow me. That's not the actions of someone who wants help. That's the action of someone trying to trick you, trying to pull wool over your eyes, get us more messed up in these things than we need to be.
That's when Wretch notices that while there's a few lamps on in town, especially in front of the inn, you notice the city, or the village, is watching you. Those yellow eyes. From windows, from alleys, from the shadows.
I'm gonna draw my sword.
And now this is fucking happening. As I draw my mace.
Sword, shield, I am ready to fuck something up.
When you look suspicious, people act suspicious, okay? And, like, that's what, like, Emery literally has her hands up, her voice is, like, getting shrill. Like...
the party just falls apart when Bull's not around.
It's not that he's acting, but we're not suspicious, though. It is very clear from looking at us what we are.
Lights out in the middle of the street. We're not suspicious, you're suspicious.
Would somebody just pat Wretch on the head for me, please? Just, like, pat him on the head and tell him he's doing a good job.
Yeah, whatever's going on with Lord Einval, he's being very guarded about it. He's not seeking help. He knows who and what we are and what we do, and he knows that Wretch is a paladin. The way he reacted, there's something else going on. And I don't think that, like, Hronadrolf did not seem untoward or crazy to me. Yes, he tried to violently murder us when he was a dog man, but it feels to me like whatever is emanating from Lord Einval is a malaise, and it's infecting this village, and even if he's not malicious, we need to solve this problem.
Yeah. And again, this is Austin, not Reg. I'm not trying to be a dick, but from my character's perspective, it was like, you know, I suspect you guys are evil, and then when I confront him, he, like, literally turns into a big bad from my perspective, and I don't know if anyone else in the party felt that, but to Wretch, it's like, this guy is the most obviously evil shit, so he is not having it, and if we want to work with him, you're gonna need to convince Wretch.
Oh yeah, no, I also agree with this approach, but Emery, sweet summer child Emery, believes that everybody might be good and doesn't want to hurt anyone.
Just making sure we're on the same page that I am not trying to be a dick about this.
No.
Okay, so Ilya and I have our weapons out, but if no one's moving towards us, I would keep going towards the inn on guard, but, like, I'd keep moving.
Yeah, when you say the city's watching us, it's like people behind curtains or, like...
You see eyes.
From windows?
Sets of
or,
eyes
like...
from windows, from shaded alleys. Far off enough that you can't make out silhouettes.
Okay.
Hearing nothing else, Wretch leads the group to the waiting mouse. The front door.
I'm going to fall in behind.
Weapons in hand.
Up until we get to the door of the inn.
Okay. You open the door. There is a welcoming sight of a traditional tavern inside. Sorry, of a traditional inn inside. And you see other walks of life. Sheathing your weapons, stepping through the door. We'll end for the night.
Cool.
Aww.
Just a little bit more, he says.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Does
All right.
Lord Einval tuck Bull in?
Gives him kisses.
And
Soft and
what's
gentle on the forehead.
what's the kitchen maid? She reads him a bedtime story.
Yep.
It's good.
Drinks him some definitely not.
You guys are really missing out over here.
Yeah. Really? Funny.
Bull has never known such care.
That's great.
Alrighty. Well, with that, we'll pick up again in